booktube. It has been a hot minute since I made a video. Hello booktube, it's Leanne Cooper here, and I am very belatedly trying to do a book chat happy hour with you. I think this is number 5. I could be wrong on that. The correct happy hour number will be in the title, obviously. I have hot cider with a shot of bourbon and a slice of orange, which is kind of probably my definitive Christmas winter cocktail. I really love making it. I mean, it's super simple. It's not super alcoholic, though you can make it more alcoholic by putting, more bourbon in it. And really, you can use any type of whiskey you like. I've also made this with flavored whiskey, so like a honey flavored whiskey and apple flavored whiskey was really good. Just really amped up the apple flavor, cinnamon flavored whiskey, all that kind of good stuff. So with that out of the way, I highly recommend you go grab a beverage of choice, whether that's a cup of coffee, cup of tea, cocktail, whatever. Let's sit down and have a quick chat. I say quick, but when are my videos ever quick? I kind of disappeared, and I have been meaning to make this video for about 2 weeks, and I am only just now getting around to it. And the reasons for this are some things that I mentioned might be happening in my November vlogs that did happen. So I got a job. It's just a part-time barista job at Barnes & Noble's, literally working in the cafe. It's the first time I've worked for someone else since 2010, and it's been 2 years since I worked in the tea room. So it is a huge adjustment. I've never worked in a Starbucks before. I've always worked for independent coffee companies and independent roasters since I live in the Pacific Northwest. I live south of Seattle, coffee country, and I've never actually worked for a Starbucks. And Starbucks is so particular about not only their recipes are very specific, but also the order in which you do everything, the systems in which you do everything, the way you date everything. Everything's very exacting. At least that's how it's presented to you. And even though this is a Barnes & Noble's cafe, they still use the Starbucks systems. A lot of the other baristas are previously worked at Starbucks. The cafe manager was a Starbucks manager, so it's all new. It's all very new, and it's been it's a little exhausting just learning so much new information. And it's almost, I'm not gonna say it's more difficult, because it's I know how to make coffee, but I know how to make coffee in specific ways that are not necessarily the Starbucks ways. So from my perspective, at least, Starbucks really doesn't seem to give a shit about the quality of the shots, because the espresso machine is completely automated. You're not tamping your own shots. You're not paying attention to how long they pour, because it's all regulated in the machine. You're not paying attention to the striations or the crema or the color and the smell. So for example, the shots that come out of this machine have no crema. Never drink Dopios out of these machines. And you're only supposed to aerate your milk for 3 seconds before you're just supposed to be steaming it, and you're supposed to hold back all of the foam when you pour the drinks, because people just want sugar. And that's the other thing, looking at these recipes, I obviously can't mention the store that I'm in, but I can talk about the experience as long as I don't directly mention where I'm working. And I don't really have anything bad to say about the store. The store I'm working in is actually really awesome, and all the people are really nice, and it kind of makes me want to shop at Barnes & Noble a little bit more than I do, just because they are all such genuinely awesome people. But anyways, back to Starbucks. The recipes are all just, you think there's a lot of sugar in a peppermint mocha, and then you make a Starbucks peppermint mocha, and it is 1/4 syrup. I'm not exaggerating. It is so much sugar. They are truly gobbledygook drinks, and that's why they don't care about the quality of the shots or the milk texture, really. There's a reason you steam milk, there's a reason you aerate milk, and it's not just to heat it up, right? It is actually to change the texture of the milk. Some of the mouthfeel that is involved in a cappuccino or a latte does have to do with having some foam in your drink. But I guess, people who went 8 pumps of sugar don't really appreciate that. So it's a very steep strange learning curve in areas that I wasn't expecting. And then of course I'm like perfectly versed in lots of other areas that don't even come into play, like tamping and timing and pouring latte art, which you pretty much can't do because you're not supposed to aerate your milk enough to get the texture you need to do really nice latte art. So it's an experience. It is a truly overwhelming and exhausting experience. And basically, after the first day, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to devote a whole lot of creative energy to anything while I was doing this job. And since it's only a holiday position, I'm not officially like hired on for the year, and I assume that I'm only technically there until the middle of January. I decided to give myself permission to just go ahead and put on hold all of my creative projects instead of trying to juggle so many different things when I was really tired and stressed out. And also the whole experience of going back to work and having to interact with people has actually been very anxiety inducing. Like after about the second day, I wanted to just disappear and never go back again, because I was so unhappy having to deal with so many people and I was so tired. It was an awful experience. Obviously, I've gotten over that. Like I've now kind of pushed through the social anxiety of having to deal with so many new people. And so it's like fine, it's whatever, I guess. But I'm still not super inspired to work on anything. So the NaNoWriMo, I think I ended up with 38,000 words. I could have finished if I'd been really focused and dedicated, but I just didn't. I wasn't feeling it. I'm still not entirely sure on where I want to end the short story I was working on, and I decided instead of like writing a shitty ending, I'm just gonna let it like stop, and I'm gonna let my brain work on the problem until I have like a really good ending, and then I'll write it. Reading has taken a serious backseat. I mean, if you saw my November wrap-up, you know, it was pretty meager. So far this month has been even worse. Like, I haven't finished any books. I had to return When the Moon Was Ours unread. I got like almost halfway through it. I just didn't have the energy to finish it. Currently reading An Unsuitable Heir, maybe 10% into that, and it's probably going to get returned to the library too, and I'm going to have to recheck it out. Got a copy of Monstrous Volume 2, which I started reading at work, and of course a bunch of people wanted to talk to me about it, so I didn't get much of it read. I think I'm about 1/6 of the way into it. I read the first issue in it. So I'll read that. And then what else am I reading? Oh, I'm still trying to read The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. This is an arc. The book is already out. I will leave a link to the Goodreads page down below because I highly suggest you check it out. Check out The Bear and the Nightingale if you haven't read that. Because The Bear and the Nightingale is genuinely a solid piece of historical fiction with fairy tale elements. It's really great, and I think it's a great piece of like transitional cross-genre storytelling, in that if you like fairy tales or you like fantasy and you want to get into historical fiction, check it out because it crosses over. Or conversely, if you really like historical fiction and you want to get more into fantasy, try it, because it's got little bits of both of those elements, but not overwhelmingly either one of those elements, so it's a good transition. Also, if you read a lot of YA and you want to get into more adult fiction, it's another good transition piece. I am really enjoying the second book. I'm only about maybe 20% in, but I am genuinely enjoying it. I read it in like the 10 minutes I have before my shift starts, and like sometimes on my breaks, and just kind of like squeezing in a couple of pages here and there when I can. I love the protagonist. We're taking some different angles with some of her other siblings in this book, which is really cool. The Frost Demon Morozko. I might be remembering that wrong. The Frost Demon is in it again, and there's no romance in these books, but I can't help wanting to ship him and Vasilisa, because he's just one of those like kind of scary, morally gray characters that I just love. Highly check it out. I'll leave a link. But so I sat down today to do this little chat, talk to you about my job, and I wrote up a list of videos I want to do in December, which is kind of a lot for how much energy and time I just don't have to do them. So I'm going to try to pre-record a bunch of films tonight. I have like today off. I say today off. It's 9 o'clock at night, guys. And I have tomorrow off. I have so many things I need to get done in these 2 days, and I spent most of the day sleeping. That's terrible. But I've got so many videos I want to do. I'm really going to try hard to hit them. We'll see. But if I like look the same in a bunch of videos for the next week, because they were all pre-recorded. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm kind of bummed because there were a bunch of, I wasn't necessarily planning on doing Vlogmas this year, but I was wanting to do like maybe 2 weeks of like lots of end of the year videos that I'm not gonna get around to doing. I'm just gonna try to touch on like the biggest ones I wanted to make. So that's kind of what I've been doing. That's why I've been kind of AWOL. I won't lie, I also haven't been watching a whole lot of booktube because it's hard to watch booktube. It's hard to, because whenever I watch someone's video, I'm usually trying to pay attention so that I can comment, so I can engage in a conversation. And it's hard to do that when you're like falling asleep at the computer. And it's also hard to watch a bunch of videos when you're not able to really read. And so it's like, I don't want to watch stuff and get a ton of book recommendations for things that I have no time to read. I'm ready for this job to be done so that I can go back to my freelance work, so that I can go back to being more involved in the book community, because that's really where my passion and my interest lies. This whole experience has only confirmed that. If I comment on one of your videos, you can know for sure that I'm like, you're probably one of the people that I love to watch more than anyone else. Oh, the other thing I've been doing, because it doesn't take creative energy to do this, is that I have been playing a lot of Overwatch. I find video games are one of those things that it's easy to chill out, relax, and do even when you're tired, just because it uses different parts of your brain. So yeah, I'm playing a lot of Overwatch. If anyone else plays Overwatch and like you want to be friends, I play on PC, go talk to me on Twitter. And yeah, I'm not good or anything, but it's a lot of fun. It's such a good game. I think that's my happy hour chat. And now I'm looking at my camera battery and it's already dying. This is the first video of the many I was supposed to film. So I think I'm gonna go throw my camera battery on the charger. I'll see you guys in my next video. Let me know how your December is going. Are you crazy busy with end of the year stuff? How's it going? I feel like we haven't talked in a while because we haven't. Anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video.